Welcome back to our newspaper analysis. I wish you all a wonderful week ahead. Before we start, I would like to invite your attention to our regular classroom program that would be commenced on December 7 and December 14. We start 2 batches. Those who wish to migrate to the regular classroom sessions may immediately register online at icdkollam.in. There is a regular classroom program button. You may click there and there will be a registration form. Immediately register. We have limitations on number of seats thanks to COVID restrictions. So, ensure that all of you, those who wish to migrate, may register. But of course, the application will continue as such. There will not be any compromise on that. The platform �W𝐸𝐸 will continue to serve all of you to the best of all our abilities. We shall start the newspaper analysis. Next week the IBPS preliminary examinations start. I am sure that you are geared up for the show, and I am good to see that a good number of people attended today morning's English session by Krishnan sir. There will be another session at 3 o'clock today evening. All these sessions are taken keeping in mind the upcoming examinations. We shall make sure that you all feel the paucity of time. Then of course, we shall till the examination time, then of course, we shall relax things a bit, but you should keep yourself on the toss to succeed. You should feel the pressure within. In fact, that is how you can succeed in a competitive examination. So, good afternoon everybody. I am going to start with the newspaper analysis of November 28. Farmers stay camped in Delhi border. We know that farmers are protesting against 3 laws that were enacted by the Union government. Farmers believe that those laws are detrimental to their interests. Their views are that it is against their interest in few many ways. One is that the APMCs may be closed, agriculture marketplaces or the so called mandis will be closed down soon. 2, they believe that the entry of the corporates will in the end will disturb their interests, but what the government says is that with these acts, government will be able to ensure that farmers' income will be doubled by 2022, which had been a promise of the government. 2, for forever, once and forever, the intermediaries in the farming sector will be done away with. We know that the biggest curse that the farmers face is the intervention of intermediaries. They do not get the price. Those who work on the field do not get the price. So, it is to avoid the so called intermediaries, middlemen, that the government has come out with a law. That is government's view, but government has failed completely to take the confidence of stakeholders. That is the issue. Discussions have not taken place. Sometimes the intention of the government could be correct, but government is only one of the stakeholders. Farmers, the biggest stakeholders of this issue, it is their livelihood, must have been taken into confidence before the government took a view. So, now farmers mainly from Punjab and Haryana have come up to Haryana. They were trying to siege the parliament and make protests there, but the police of Haryana have stopped them on their way. It is quite disturbing to see that the police have even dug big pits on the national highway to keep the farmers away. They were coming on trucks. In fact, whom have you stopped? You have stopped the farmers of this country. You have not stopped the military force of a foreign country. So, that has been terribly upsetting. Anyway, it looks as if farmers will continue the strike and government finally will have to mend their ways. We have to see what is going to happen. Anyway, closely watch. GDP contracts 7.5% in the second quarter. We know that the financial year is divided into 4 quarters, which are they? April, June 1 quarter, quarter 1, July, September, quarter 2, October, December, quarter 3, and January, March, quarter 4, then which will cover the entire financial year of April to March next year. So, the lockdown started on March 25, and for almost 2 months the economy was completely in shambles. It was closed down, it was paralyzed. So, during the first quarter, meaning the quarter starting April and ending on June, the Indian economy contracted by 23.5% compared to the previous year, meaning if the total production in the economy was 100 during the corresponding year in 1920, it was only 76.5 during 2021, the same period. So, that was the first quarter performance. In the second quarter, it again contracted. Of course, it was 7.5% in the second quarter. We know that September was a good year for the government. In fact, there was a production increase of 4%, sorry, GST collection increase. GST collections indicate the purchase or the transactions that take place in the economy. When compared to September 2019, in 2020, the GST collection went up by 4%. So, that seems to have given hopes to the government, and the government on many occasions claim that economy has already been back into track. But many economists say that this is nothing to be cheered about, because this is the result of a pent up demand that has created thanks to the initial lockdowns. We have to wait and see. So, this issue, this particular in the first quarter it was not 23.5, it is 23.9% decline in the first quarter. It is given by National Statistical Office on Friday. So, country is now undergoing a technical recession. So, what is recession? Recession is perpetuated by lower demands for goods and services. Companies have produced many things to sell, but the articles are not sold off. Then that is called recession. So, if the economy goes through 2 continuous quarters of recession, so continuous quarters of negative growth, it is called recession. That is a theoretical explanation for recession. If the country's economy does not grow or undergoes negative growth for 2 continuous quarters, then theoretical economists would say that the economy has got into a recessive mode. So, the government has to do something to come out of recession, otherwise it will move on to the worst stage called economic depression. So, now from recession, through different stimulus activities, the economy can be taken back to recovery stage. that is important. If recession continues, then it will plunge to depressive mode, then it will be very difficult to go back. So, we have to bypass the depression stage of the economy by providing economic stimulus. That is possible only if people at the lower of the pyramid, bottom of the pyramid, have money in their hands. That is why many economists, including the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, say that government has to act now and ensure that people get money in their hands through DBT, direct benefit transfer or so. Anyway, we have to see these are all statistics, very, very important. Different agencies projected different kind of levels of contraction. Reserve Bank of India projected 8.6, but this is the National Statistical Office which says it is 7.5. Anyway, contraction is something that is confirmed. Tech tact. India must stick to a rules based approach in regulating the internet. See, India blocked 43 more Chinese mobile application, which was condemned by China, saying that India should not do country specific restrictions in an open business era or in the era of free trade. But the newspaper article questions China's claim on the so called free trade, because the internet in China has got its own definition. It is a highly censored internet that China is promoting. In China, Google is not applicable. So, China has got its own internet setup. China, and the same China is criticizing India to open up. So, anyway, but we cannot follow Chinese path, because India is a democracy where larger freedoms are enjoyed by people. So, the article continues to say that India should not make any country specific approach, rather India's internet policy must be a rules based or policy based approach regulating the internet. So, this is what the article says. It has to be connected or it has to be read in connection with the recent government regulation to keep the internet channels like Amazon Prime, etc., they are also kept under the regulatory purview of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. So, we have to have a rules based approach, and that is what is going to stand for longer time and not country specific, etc., etc. So, and of course, we have to read along with the turbulent borders that we keep with China, that also has to be connected. So, growingly what we see is that the World Trade Organization is growingly become irrelevant. The World Trade Organization that was there to promote free trade amongst the member nations, its significance has been coming down. All countries want free trade only so far as they can promote their goods in other countries. Nobody wants other countries' products. Other countries' products are unwelcome to their geographies. But of course, everybody wants investment. Investment is welcome, but imports are unwelcome. So, this is a kind of a restrictive free trade. That will be an irony to call it restrictive free trade, but that is what is being promoted. Anyway, please read continuously. A vial half full. This is about the vaccine. After a spate of successes in the vaccine being tested in human trials, there is now a blip, a manufacturing defect in some batches of the trial vaccine being tested and marketed by AstraZeneca, which has partnered with the Oxford University vaccine group to test the market and ChAdOx1 COVID vaccine. Listen, some volunteers who were supposed to get 2 doses of vaccine were got only half. So, mind you, this is going to be the biggest vaccination program ever in the world to have taken place in a shortest possible time. So, this is going to occupy the pages of all newspapers, times of all electronic media in the days to come. So, please read, it is going to occupy the space of your question papers too. So, please read continuously about the vaccination program. We got to have a very clear cut blueprint to vaccinate all the people. Even at the best of positive person, the most positive person would say, optimist would say that the vaccination program will take at least 2024 to get completed in India. So, that is the, and how many doses have we to give, who all are to be given, what is going to be the supply chain, what is going to be the cold chain. So, and the priority should be given to whom and who should not be given. So, all these things have to be kept in mind, and we should not allow a time when rich people get the vaccine and the poor doesn't. So, we have to ensure that we got to have a clear cut plan, and the vaccine has to be very safe also. Once this vaccine is implemented, then it should not hurt already the other 4 vaccines that are given to all children in India from time to time. So, plenty of concerns. The government got to have a very clear cut plan of vaccination. Prime Minister Modi visited Bharat Biotech facility today. So, Prime Minister Modi visited 3 institutes that are producing corona vaccine, COVID vaccine in India. Of course, this will be an encouragement to the scientists and institutions there. So, those institutions, where are they? Bharat Biotech is in Hyderabad, and the Serum Institute is in Pune, and he went to another institute in Ahmedabad. So, all these institutes' names should be remembered, that could be important. When the Prime Minister of the country visits a factory, then immediately that gets a lot of currency, and it should not evade your focus. Rupees 4,300 crore collected as compound interest returned. You see, the government of India, the Reserve Bank of India allowed moratorium on bank loan repayment from till August 31 for 6 months. 6 months moratorium was given. March 1 to August 31. During the moratorium period, the interest was being charged. The compound interest was being charged. Immediately the Supreme Court of India swung into action. Somebody moved the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court of India said that that was not a proper relief. So, the government of India finally acceded and said that the compound interest will not be charged. The already accrued compound interest will be returned, meaning what was returned to the respective accounts would be the compound interest minus simple interest. I am very sure you know what I am speaking about, because you know what compound interest is and what simple interest is. So, the compound interest minus simple interest is the benefit that the customers got. So, the loan is amounting to around 13 crore accounts. They were given back a total amount of 4,300 crore. The government will compensate banks. The lenders will be compensated by the government for the difference between compound interest, which was actually payable, and simple interest, which the customers have to pay. But I do not know whether it is the real relief that the economy wanted. We know that merchants who have paid all the taxes and started their ventures, they were forced to close their operations for reasons that were not theirs. Now, they have to repay the loans, otherwise their loans will become NPA, they will not be able to take fresh loans, and they will not be able to sustain in their businesses. So, this is not the help that the economy really wanted. The economy wanted more, businessmen wanted more, merchants wanted more help, but this was what they have got. So, this amount 13.12 crore bank accounts important, 4,300 crore important, the scheme is also important from the purview of your examination, because government has given a relief which it claims to be a big one is there. So, that is going to be important for your examination. Sparkling stone sparks frenzy in Nagaland, very important. Listen, Wanching village in Nagaland's Mon district. There was an accidental discovery of a gem, of a diamond. In fact, it was not a diamond, but this guy went frenzy, and many people started pouring into this particular village. Now, government authorities are also going there. Diamonds cannot be seen in surface areas. So, this was found in the surface, not in deep under the earth. So, this cannot be close to surface. So, it cannot be diamond, but anyway, this particular village in Nagaland, Mon districts, has become cynosure of many eyes. So, please take note of it. We do not know whether it will get some prominence in your question papers. Mizoram Assembly Speaker disqualifies 𝐿𝐴𝐿 𝐿𝐴𝐿 has been disqualified as an MP and as an MLA now. He was disqualified as an MP earlier on, now he is disqualified as an MLA. He is a former police officer and he is from Mizoram. He is an MLA in Mizoram. Top Iranian nuclear scientist killed. We do not know what is going to happen in the world. The world knows about Iranian nuclear ambition. Iranian nuclear scientist was killed by unknown people whom Iran claims to be Zionist supporters, meaning Israeli supporters. We do not know the hands of Mossad in it, we do not know the secret police of Israel. But anyway, Iran has called for a revenge on Israel. So, we do not know what is going to happen, whether the Central Asia will continue to be a hotspot, we do not know. Anyway, we know that the relationship between Iran and America got really ruptured during the Trump era. Now, Iran is hoping to have the relations back on track with a change in office, change in guard in the White House. So, unfortunately, this issue has come. The Iranian scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was killed in an attack while he was moving from one place to another. So, he is the Iranian nuclear scientist, a very important personality in Iran. This may be a history changing moment for the Central Asia's future. We have to wait and see what is going to happen. China slaps 200% tax on Australian wine. This is what I just a few minutes ago told you. The world was very hopeful of so called free trade. We thought, or many in the world think, that free trade will be a panacea for all economic ills. If free trade is promoted, consumption will go up, which will support more production, which will give more employment, which will distribute income, so which will increase the riches of people, which in subsequent turn will increase demand. So, people will get more employment, and employment of course is the best way to alleviate poverty. So, we thought that free trade will be the panacea for all economic ills, and the World Trade Organization came into being in 1995, January 1, I believe. If my memory is anything to go by, it came in 1995 on January 1. Anyway, World Trade Organization is the free trade watchdog of the UNO, United Nations Organization, and almost every country is a participant of WTO, but over the period of time, big nations like America, China, India, Europe as such, all have gone into restrictive practices. So, everybody wants free trade on paper, but nobody wants free trade in spirit. Everybody wants to protect the interest of the domestic market. So, protectionism is an anathema to free trade. Now, look, China slaps 200% tax on Australian wine. So, Chinese say that Australian wine is unwelcome to that country, that is why they increase the tariff to 200%, meaning a wine that would be made available at 100 rupee, the consumer has to pay 300 rupees, 200% tax. So, this is one way. Higher tariff, higher taxes is a trade barrier. The World Trade Organization has come in to break all the trade barriers, but now through the other side barriers are going up. Indian decision to stop 250 mobile applications of China or Chinese origin, that also has to be taken from the point of view of trade, a kind of a trade barrier, banning, imposing quantitative restriction and high tariff. These are the three general trade barriers or methods of imposing trade barrier. Core sector contraction widens to 2.5%. Core sector, there are 8 core sectors like steel, electricity, coal, etc., etc. So, core sector of the economy contracts 2.5%. So, that is also very, very important. Electricity, coal and fertilizers. Of course, fertilizers must have done better because we are going through an agriculture season. So, except that most of the sectors contracted and the average contraction amounted to 2.5%. Sorry. Fiscal deficit reaches 120% of annual budget target. Listen, what is fiscal deficit? I told you that the word fiscal means that pertains to government income and government expenditure. Yes, I am given an input that yes, so I am correct. January 1, 1995, the World Trade Organization was established. So, I could trust on my memory, so it is correct. So, anyway, thank you 𝐃𝐞𝐭𝐚𝐢𝐥𝐬. So, fiscal deficit reached 120% of annual budget target. What is fiscal? Fiscal means that pertains to governmental income and government expenditure. There will be a fiscal surplus if the income is more than the expenditure, and there will be a fiscal deficit if the expenditure is more than the income. If my expenditure is more than the income, then I will run into deficit. So, our country has got a fiscal deficit. We have been trying to control the fiscal deficit by improving the income and controlling the expenditure. Only by increasing the income and controlling the expenditure, limiting the expenditure, that fiscal deficit can be controlled. So, the country had made a fiscal deficit target. By next year, the fiscal deficit has to be 100 rupee, meaning our expenditure can go beyond the income by 100. This was the target. Now, we are living only in November. By October end, it has already touched 120%, 120 rupees. 120 was our annual target. By March 2021, our fiscal deficit has to be 120. 100. This was the target. As against such a target, by August itself, it has crossed 120, meaning 120% of the annual target. That is the meaning of the write up. So, what could be the reason? Governmental income went down like anything, thanks to COVID restrictions, thanks to lower collection of taxes. Through the other side, to contain COVID, governmental expenditure went up like anything. So, the expenditure went up, income came down. Government could not sell out the shares of public sector equities to government. Planned to mobilize around 2 lakh or 2.4 lakh crore, I forgot the figure, but that also could not be done. Government could mobilize only 6,000 plus crore as against a very big target. So, government income went down, expenditure went up, the fiscal deficit overshoot. Thank you very much for watching the video. Let me hope that you all got benefited by the program. Continuously watch, continuously read. I have seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students of mine succeeding, who have got genuine interest in, who have shown genuine interest in learning. Listen, we have to continuously learn. We got to have a focus. That focus is very, very important. Unless we have a genuine focus, we cannot succeed. exams are coming. I told you that in January the State Bank of India clerical examination is expected. In September, the biggest examination ever to happen in India on public sector and government, the NRA's CET, Common Eligibility Test, is coming. So, it is the right time to start. Generally what happens is that people would start seriously only when the notification comes. We are living in a digital era where examinations are conducted online. So, we will not get time between the notification and the time of the examination. So, start early, anticipate the examination and perform and learn well. Then we can ensure that you get the job card, we get the job card. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you dear all. Await another session at 3 o'clock today. A goodbye and have a good day to all of you.